What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers advice. Today we got some good stuff. We finally see an evolution of Bryce Young to a point. Now, I'm not gonna lie, as he ended that 6-game stretch this past season, I was like, okay, maybe him being passive, maybe that's just who he is, right? I'm like, all right, I'll take it, right? If that's what we have to have, then I'll take it. But what we saw at minicamp, not what we saw, but what we heard and what everyone's saying is Bryce Young he's taking that next step. Let's dive into the article a little bit more. We got a lot to go over. So it says right here, Bryce Young's fiery side emerges at Panthers minicamp. So when I saw this title, I was like, all right, I got to click it. Let's see what happens. Go on to say Bryce Young is done being quiet. The typically easygoing quarterback surprised teammates and coaches during the first day of Carolina Panthers mandatory minicamp Tuesday when he confronted Pro Bowl cornerback Jaycee Horn. I got to say I'm shocked, right? I don't think Bryce Young was really doing that his rookie year, doing that his sophomore year, his third year in the NFL. I think he's way more confident, and not just confident from a self standpoint, but he's confident with the coaches he has around him. He's confident with the receivers. He's confident with the tight end. He's confident with the running backs. Because if you take a look, we go back to his first year. His receivers, if I'm not mistaken, you had DJ, you had LaVisca, you had Adam Thielen. I might be missing one more key receiver in there. Oh, I think TMJ, right? So those were his four guys. Injury, 35-year-old, or Adam Thielen was 30? And then TMJ, you didn't really know what you were getting. I don't think the coaches knew how to play him. If I'm Bryce Young, I'm not very confident in my receiver group, to be honest, right? Then you look at the offensive line. After the first 2 weeks, you knew you couldn't be confident with that. You had Chuba, which was good, but it's hard to get a run game going when you can't get the pass game going because that just means they're going to stack the box, right? So it makes sense he wasn't confident in his first year. And not even that, right? That's preseason. That's the first half of the season. And then Frank Reich, your head coach, gets fired halfway through the season. And you're like, okay, things might turn around. No, they don't turn around. So obviously he lost probably a lot of confidence year one, right? And not in himself, but as an organization. Year two comes, he gets benched. Third week? Now, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to get benched, but it happens. You got to think he lost confidence then. Then it's like he came back from being benched and is playing with a new spark. And now he realizes, oh, okay, this is my team. I've got good receivers, right? You got T-Mac, you got Jimmy Horn potentially, you got Coker, Thielen. We got some guys for receivers. Tight ends, assuming Tremble's healthy, you got Tremble, you got Sanders, you got Mitchell Evans, Chuba Hubbard in the backfield with ETN now and Rico. Offensive line is proven. We saw that last year. It's like everything has almost come together full circle for Bryce Young to really have success in the NFL now. And it all starts kind of building from the ground up. Right, we talked about the players, but also the coaches too, right? Because Dave Canales is back for another year. Frank Reich was gone. Then you brought in Chris Tabor. I guess you didn't bring in Chris Tabor, right? But he took over. Thomas Brown took over. They're all gone, right? Dave Canales comes in. We don't know what we're getting now. Year two, everybody kind of knows the system a little bit better. I can see why Bryce Young is talking his trash now because everything is starting to come together a little bit. Let's keep it going. So what made this all happen? Apparently Horn had overheard Bryce Young call play in the huddle and tipped off the defense down to the routes the receivers were running. Young, he didn't let it slide. Bryce Young 2 years ago, Bryce Young last year wasn't doing this. And I think it's a confidence thing. When you're confident and you know your receivers can back you up, your running backs can back you up, your line can block, ooh, that ego, boy, that ego. That'll take you to new heights. Let's keep it going. It goes on to say right here, the current set of Panthers are far from being a contender on paper. All right. After 7 straight losing seasons, the players believe Young being vocal is a sign of change. Guys are finally sick of being the same old Carolina Panthers, Adam Thielen said. We want to get back to what they did here in the past. I got to say this right here. If this really is the changing of the tide, right, and that might not be the right saying how that goes. If this really is the start of that, I gotta think Adam Thielen is really the reason this all kind of came together. Because if you don't have Adam Thielen the last 2 years, this offense would be in such a bad position. And Adam Thielen, as well, is starting to get more vocal because if you go back a few videos I did, He talked about the receivers the Panthers have had the last 3 years, not including this year, but the previous 2. There was no competition for him. He didn't have to get any better. And it's not a knock to the receivers because usually half of them were injured, right? And so you can look at it from a talent basis. You can look at that from a depth chart basis. Adam Thielen was cruising. And now it's like, okay, I'm 32, 33. These young guys are here to take my job. So Adam Thielen, I like that he's speaking out more. Because Adam Thielen, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't really speak out a lot. Was it week 2? Remind me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it might have been week 2 or week 1 where he threw his helmet on the sideline and you see him get frustrated. You still didn't really hear from him, though, until this past offseason. But Adam Thielen, he's like, I've had enough. I can't sit here and deal with this mediocre play, whether it's the coaches, the players. He's had enough. And honestly, man, if this is the changing of the guard, that's the saying right there. I got to put kind of Adam Thielen at the front. But as we jump back into the article, all right, Dave Canales talks about Bryce Young. That's just his way of competing. Young earned back the starting job after being benched early last season, finishing the year with a 5-touchdown performance and a 44-38 win at Atlanta. The Panthers followed that by selecting Mr. McMillan, giving Bryce another weapon to build his confidence. And that's something else to think about. Adam Thielen was Bryce's guy. But the problem with Thielen, when you play him in the slot, it's so tricky, right? Because if you play him in the slot, as you can see about the board right there, let's take a look right here. So if you play him in the slot, right, let's put him right here. If he goes up and in to the linebacker, if he goes up and out, he's playing the cornerback, right? Now, that's assuming the cornerback's not playing a cover 3, cover 4 look, and, assuming he's not dropping back. But let's say the cornerback, he might have a tell that Adam Thielen's going to run that out route. He might play underneath, a little trail technique, safety over the top is going to pick up that outside receiver, right? So that was the problem with Adam Thielen. Now you get Bryce, an outside target, and so if that's picked up, bang, we're going to Adam Thielen. And no wonder his confidence has improved because you're actually putting players around him. Let's keep this thing going. Next up is going to be Jaycee Horn. This conference, it got interesting because I learned something I didn't know about an article that released from PFF. Stay tuned.
Your career, I'm trying to remember your rookie year. Was there anyone you saw that, or did you just come with that?
No, I've been that way. I just feel like football more fun when you talk trash and just make it more competitive and make practice more fun.
So I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but he basically asked Jaycee Horn, did you learn talking trash from somebody else, or have you always been like that? Most players, let me clarify this. Most receivers and DBs, they're going to talk trash. That's just who they are. So, especially at the NFL level, most guys, they're going to talk their talk.
That one specifically going that we saw late in practice, what got you guys going there?
That's every day. I just be talking for real. Like, it wasn't nothing specific. Just playing. I'll be talking to Bryce, Andy, all the quarterbacks. They be checking the ball down in 7-on-7 and stuff like that. But it's all fun and games.
Your responsibility to make sure you get it going?
Yeah, but
I actually like that question, right? Where does Jaycee Horn have a responsibility to get them going? And he gave us a great answer, which we're going to see in a second. And it's interesting because I never thought of it like that, right? And I don't think it's his responsibility, but sometimes it might be during the game. Hey, talk that talk. I saw a lot of Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Julian Edelman, Tom Brady, Julian basically talking trash to Tom Brady, trying to get in his head, make him angry. Same thing with Peyton Manning and the Colts. Sometimes you need a guy to basically set you right when, things aren't going, well for you, right? So is that Jaycee Horn's responsibility? I don't think it's his responsibility. Can he be that guy to basically talk trash to Bryce Young, make him turn it on? It might be.
A list from PFF ranking cornerbacks. Do you still feel like you coming off an all-pro season, you got a little something to prove this year?
I ain't got nothing for PFF. No comment.
I don't know. You look kind of heated. Yeah, I feel like the no comment.
That's why I'm saying no comment. Y'all don't want to know what I'm really thinking.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all do, but no. Bruce, you gonna get me.
So I'm not going to lie. When they're talking about PFF, I'm like, what list came up from PFF that they're kind of getting frustrated about, Jaycee Horn's not happy with? Because I'll use PFF, which I've used on this channel from time to time, I like how detailed their breakdowns are as far as snaps, plays, zone coverage, man coverage, so on and so forth. I don't really trust them from a film study perspective, but I like how detailed their website is. But I went and looked, all right? And what the list is the top 32 cornerbacks, all right, for the 2025 season. So I'm like, okay, if Jaycee Horn is mad, I have a number where he might be. Let me know in the comments where you guys think he's mad. Where I see him end up at is something completely different. So first is Gardner. All right, with the Jets, I get it. He's a beast man coverage. Pat Surtain, all right. I get it. McDuffie, okay. All right, Jalen Johnson with the Bears, fine. Stingley, okay. All right, so now we're top 5. So I'm expecting Jaycee Horn kind of slowly to be coming up here. So next up's DJ Reed, Detroit Lions. Marlon Humphrey, all right. I guess we'll take that. Benford with the Bills, okay. Alexander with the Packers, all right. So I'm expecting Horn to be here. Denzel Ward, okay. If we want to make cases, that's fine. Cooper DeJean, okay. Witherspoon, I do like Witherspoon a lot. I'm like, all right. Gonzalez, okay. Now we're really testing it. Then we got Ramsey right here. All right. Charvarius Ward, okay. He's got to be right around here. Quinion Mitchell, Jamal Dean, Carlton Date. I'm like, okay. Woolen from the Seahawks, who I thought should potentially be higher, but okay. Teron Johnson, the Bills. Slay with the Steel. All right, Garrett Williams. Lenore. AJ Terrell. Jaycee Horn. Number 25 is actually crazy. Number 25 is actually... Oh, that's actually crazy. Let's see what it says right here. Horn only ranks 23rd in PFF advanced coverage grade over the past 3 seasons and 23rd in standard PFF coverage grade, 79.6 across the past 2. Here's what I want to point out, though, real quick, as we go back to this list one more time real quick. Stay with me right here. So, Gardner with the Jets, I get it. He's one of the best cornerbacks. Still really play the game. Surtain, same thing with the Broncos. Okay, let's keep it going. McDuffie. To me, he kind of got exposed a little bit against the Eagles, right? A.J. Brown, a lot of back shoulder catches. But if you want to put him there, I get it. That's fine. Then you got Jalen Johnson with the Bears. Derek Stingley. Okay, those are the top 5. I'm not going to argue too much on that, right? I think you can kind of pick and choose where you want to put them. But now let's get into this, right? So DJ Reed, Detroit Lions. Before injuries, they had a great pass rush. On top of that, that offense was electrifying. So they could play a little bit more with fire because, 1, they had lead, and 2, they had a good pass rush, which allows the defensive backs to do a little bit more, right, and play with a little bit more fire, right? Detroit Lions. Same thing with the Ravens with their defense and their offense. All right, same thing with the Bills. One of the best defenses in the NFL. So you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Those teams have a good pass rush. All of a sudden, those cornerbacks, their rankings shoot up, right? Because not only did those teams have a good defense, but that offense was also clicking. So now teams are forced to pass, throw it a little bit deeper than they want to throw it. You see where I'm going? Then you got Cooper with the Eagles. The Eagles blitzed 4 and made Mahomes' day a living nightmare. So you see where I'm going with this. When PFF talks about their coverage grade, this and a third, what are they really looking at, man? Are they just looking at numbers? Because if they are, that's the problem. Right, that's the problem. Let's keep this thing going. So to wrap this video up, we got some highlights. All right, going over highlights from minicamp this past Tuesday, aka yesterday. You got Renfro right there. You had Moore. You got McMillan, and I gotta say, man, this dude is so smooth. Woo! At 6, what is he? 6'3", 6'4". The way he comes off this right here, man, he is smooth. Now we're going to jump to some footwork drills. And like I said, man, Coker, I got to give more love to. Because look at this, man. This man. Then you got McMillan right here. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the sharpest guy when it comes to cuts. But the man is smooth. He's so light on his feet. Then you got Trayvon Moore right here. All right. Looking like that strong safety. You got Ransom right here. Ransom kind of reminds me of that. It's hard to place him It's almost like that Bob Sanders with the Colts back in the day. What was that, 05? Whew, 20 years? Damn, it's almost been 20 years. 05, 07-ish. That's kind of the vibe I get from Ransom, to be honest with you. You know, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. More content coming soon. Panthers Advice is out. Since this video dropped today, I don't want to give you guys too much content at once. We're going to push the Wharton one back to Friday, depending on how they push out this minicamp stuff and what happens. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Panthers Advice is out. Peace.